Just when the British monarchy seemed unshakable, a whisper turned into a roar, a request so shocking, it threatened the very foundation of the royal household. What led Princess Anne, known for her steadfast duty, to request abdication? The answer lies buried beneath layers of tradition, hidden tensions, and long-held secrets. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. It began like an ordinary day at the palace, with the usual parade of servants and courtiers buzzing through the gilded halls, when suddenly, a missive arrived, a request from Princess Anne, perhaps the most unwavering of the royal stalwarts, demanding her release from royal duties. The message was as explosive as it was unexpected, a spark of disbelief igniting through the palace, catching noble and commoners alike off guard. Inside those historical walls, emotions trembled like the delicate china in a storm. Faces that usually remained placid and reserved now bore the traces of shock and disbelief. Behind closed doors, royal advisors gathered in hurried whispers, their voices a haunting murmur echoing off the ornate ceilings. The grandeur that had always been their shield now felt like a stage for turmoil. The very fabric of the monarchy threatened to unravel, while Anne's request hung in the air like a chilling, unspoken accusation. Meanwhile, echoing footsteps and hushed voices hinted at secret meetings deep within the palace's heart, a strategy whispered among velvet-clad confidants seeking to understand this abrupt break in protocol. Princess Anne had long been celebrated for her rigorous adherence to royal duties, a woman whose personality seemed interwoven with the very ideals of monarchy. Her request for abdication was nothing short of revolutionary. It posed a confronting juxtaposition. What unseen pressures could drive someone so firmly rooted in tradition to seek liberation? The nation watched as personal desire clashed with expectation, a silent struggle that exposed the human beneath the crown. The facade of dutiful perfection shattered, revealing a personal quest for freedom, buried beneath decades of royal obligation. Beyond the palace gates, the news of her request swept through the public like wildfire, igniting a frenzy that saturated the media. Broadcast vans lined the palace's perimeter, their satellite dishes piercing the sky, each journalist vying for an angle on this royal crisis. Social media thrummed with speculation, the world watching and waiting as every possible theory was scrutinized and spun. As reporters huddled against the biting chill of anticipation, the gravity of Anne's decision settled over the realm like an uneasy calm. As the dust begins to settle, the attention turns to the king, whose silence only fuels speculation and intrigue. Beneath the serene veneer of royal life, a storm brews. Princess Anne, shielded by the gilded walls of tradition, finds herself ensnared in a web of tacit tensions and silent grievances that threaten to unspool the delicate tapestry of her existence. Whispers circulate through the grand corridors, ricocheting off the ancient stone, and in their wake lies the unsettling realization that beneath the grandeur, a battleground of hearts and wills unfolds. This is a realm where grievances remain unspoken, yet pulse with an insistence that cannot be ignored. It is here, amidst the echoes of duty, where Anne grapples with forces that conspire to redefine her path, a labyrinth of choices where each turn holds unforeseen consequences. Amidst her tightrope walk between royal obligations and personal desires, Anne feels the unyielding grip of duty tighten, constraining the winds of freedom she yearns to embrace. The crown she was born under now feels like shackles, its weight seeping into her spirit, casting shadows on the youthful dreams that once danced with abandon. Her every move is dissected, assessed not just by the public, but by those closest to her, those whose loyalty is as unpredictable as the court's changing tides. The advisors, with their velvet-gloved influence, weave their own designs, maneuvering as if in a grand chess game where every suggestion is but a strategic power play. In this theater of expectations, her desires fade beneath the imposing demands of royalty, their echoes drowned in the unending recital of duty. And yet, the past is never truly past. Old conflicts, thought buried beneath the sands of time, stir once more, their latent power a surging undertow threatening to unsteady the most stoic of hearts. Ghosts of bygone strife rise, their specters casting long, cold shadows over Anne's present. Resentments once safely tucked away now claw their way to the surface, weaving discord into relationships that once formed her cornerstone. As she wrestles with the legacy of her lineage, the echoes of ancient feuds mix seamlessly with the present dilemmas, binding her with chains forged in the fires of historical grievance and modern expectation. In this potent crucible of public and private struggle, Anne stands at a crossroads where personal identity clashes fiercely with the solemnity of her station. The emotional strain tightens with each dawn, as she battles to reconcile the divergent paths of heart and duty. Her reflection taunts her a constant reminder of the woman she is, against the backdrop of the royal role she must uphold. Here lies a profound dissonance, a tug-of-war that plays out within her very soul, pushing her to the brink where one must inevitably succumb to the other. Even the mirror fails to reveal which part of her silently buckles under the psychological burden carried not just upon her shoulders, but deeply embedded within her being. As intricacies of power and vulnerability converge, pulling Anne toward her drastic decision, the gaze shifts to King Charles, a silent keeper of the monarchy's fragile equilibrium. He too must navigate these unseen threats that weave through the court like shadows at dusk, obscuring truth and intention alike. The psychological weight of the crown does not rest upon Anne alone. It presses upon Charles, whose own journey has sculpted him into a monarch of nuance and complexity. As the monarchy wrestles with this internal strife, King Charles must address the public, unleashing further intrigue. In an unprecedented move, King Charles steps forward, shattering the silence that has gripped the nation. What truths will be revealed, and how will they redefine our understanding of the royal family? Prepare for a cascade of revelations that challenge everything we thought we knew. The air, thick with anticipation, quivers as the king himself emerges from shadows that have seemed to lengthen with every passing day. His eyes, usually so still, carry the weight of centuries, and as they sweep over the gathered throng, a sea of breathless expectation fills the realm. It's a silence unlike any other, a silence teetering at the brink of revolution. King Charles begins to speak, his voice a harbinger of truths long buried beneath the grandeur of the crown. With each word, a tale of sacrifice unfolds, rich with emotional undercurrents and subtleties that hint at fractures within the palace walls. His words cut through the ennui of ceremonial platitudes, punctuating the air with revelations that pulse with life and longing. As he delves into the strains of royal duty, the familial bonds stretched thin. Whispers of conflicts once contained within gilded chambers now find their way into the light. The honesty in his tone is arresting, as he recounts those endless nights spent in solitude, grappling with the ghosts of forebears who watched from the recesses of history, bound by protocol and lineage. With the gravity of a man burdened by the weight of the world, King Charles reflects on the invisible yoke of expectations that chafes against his every thought. The private struggles he reveals are not of opulence but of isolation, the crown an anchor as much as it is a beacon. Sacrifices made for the sake of a nation, a kingdom are laid bare, each one a testament to his silent endurance, a narrative carefully unraveled to expose the raw, beating heart of a man beneath the regalia. His words pull the audience deeper into the swell of his confession, and the world holds its breath. Then come the revelations that ripple through the assembly like a stone cast into still water. The monarchy's governing principles, hitherto untouched by the scrutiny of the masses, are laid out with daring candor. The king dismantles the myth of unyielding traditions, revealing nuances and adaptations. A monarchy not static but evolving, reshaping in subtle defiance of its own legend. It's as if the monarchy itself takes a breath, reforming its silhouette against the backdrop of a modern world that demands transparency and truth. Outside the confines of the king's voice, reactions erupt like distant thunder. Royal experts, those bastions of studied reserve, find themselves adrift in the tides of shock and intrigue. Their carefully forged opinions strain against this new reality, some finding resonance in the king's declarations, others clinging to a skepticism forged through years of studied doubt. Among the public, a myriad of emotions surge, support from those who see their king's vulnerability as a bridge to a wiser future, disbelief from others, questioning the motives behind such a transparent exposition. And so, as the echoes of King Charles's words settle into both hearts and history, the narrative stands on the precipice of change. Traditions are questioned, yet some remain resolute, grounded in faith that transformation, while jarring, is yet another facet of royalty's enduring tale. Just as the world begins to digest King Charles's words, new information surfaces that throws the narrative into further disarray. What if this isn't a story of solitary rebellion, but one of hidden orchestration? New clues emerge about behind-the-scenes influencers pulling strings within the royal system. Who stands to gain from Princess Anne's abdication? The answers might surprise you. In the heart of the palace, where whispers weave through cold stone corridors, an unseen orchestra conducted affairs with practiced precision. Allegations swirl like smoke in the night air, suggesting that influential figures have been subtly manipulating decisions from the shadows. These nameless architects of ambition moved with the grace of ghosts, visible only through the unexpected turns they left in their wake. The deeper we delve into these secrets, the more intricate the roles of advisors and confidants become. These individuals, veiled as humble servants of the crown, are now unmasked as the pivotal players in a game, greater than themselves. Their whispers served as the delicate yet firm hands guiding the royal compass, crafting narratives and reshaping destinies. Each word spoken in private chambers rippled through the monarchy, creating or destroying futures with fleeting ease. But who among them was bold enough to dream of Anne's downfall? And to what end? History offers a lens into the clandestine councils of old, where secretive royal assemblies, often obscured by tales of grandeur, carved out power like sculptors with stone. These were no mere gatherings; these councils were battlegrounds of wit and subtlety, where whispers could topple empires. The concept of Anne's abdication was more than a mere possibility. It was an engineered shift in power, orchestrated by those whose faces rarely saw the light. Motives were layered and opaque, each with its own rhythm, whether it was to diminish a rival's influence, to elevate a favored heir, or to alter the monarchy's course altogether. Who wouldn't be seduced by the power to shape a kingdom's fate, to write history with their own pen? Looming beyond the confines of the royal halls were additional pressures, alliances and political chess games played by countries seeking sway over crowns. The Game of Thrones did not end at the palace's iron gates. It ensnared global powers in its web, each vying to tip the balance in their favor with diplomacy as their weapon of choice. This story comes riddled with conflicting narratives, making it nearly impossible to unravel truth from deception. Misinformation served as currency in the royal court, a tool wielded by those who thrived in ambiguity, forever blurring the lines between reality and illusion. Like a masterful tapestry, every thread threatened to unravel the truth, were it to be pulled with reckless abandon. As the plot thickens and the shadows lengthen, Princess Anne herself steps back into the spotlight with a counter-narrative. At last, a voice from within the storm, the princess herself. Princess Anne lays her cards on the table, offering a heartfelt account filled with personal revelations that tug at the heartstrings. How did we misread her steadfastness? And what does she truly want? In the silence of her chambers, Anne speaks, a gentle yet unyielding quiver in her voice. Her story begins, not in luxury, but in the constricting embrace of tradition. The weight of the royal mantle pressed upon her young shoulders, a burden that felt as much a shackle as it was an honor. There, hidden from prying eyes, Anne recalls the years of internal battles waged beneath her composed exterior. For every public smile, there were tears shed in solitude, she confesses, her voice carrying the weight of long-kept secrets. Her struggle was not one of rebellion against duty, but a quest for personal truth amidst the cacophony of expectation. Anne reflects on her family, those iconic figures she knows as intimately flawed and beautifully complex individuals. Scenes of familial warmth intermingled with the chill of disapproval surface in her mind, painting a tapestry of love and obligation. Through her words, we glimpse a daughter torn between loyalty and the desire for authenticity. The crown is shown to be both an inheritance and a silhouette, under which her true identity often fades, leaving her to ponder, am I Anne, or just a vessel for tradition? This question lingers, unrequited, as she navigates the choppy waters of duty and self. Each tradition upheld feels like a cage around her spirit. Anne speaks of the royal rituals, those seemingly immutable rites that once held her in awe. Now, she views them with both reverence and restrained critique. Rigidness, she calls it, a structure imposed upon the fluidity of life itself. She recounts her strained compliance, moments when her heart rebelled against the rigid script written for her life. Her narrative shatters the carefully curated myths, revealing a woman grappling with the disparity between prescribed roles and personal convictions. Amidst her candidness, a string of raw emotions unfurls. Vulnerability becomes her armor as Anne opens past wounds, laying bare the scars of scrutiny and solitude. Her introspection is deep, an ocean of emotions tightly contained by the decorum of royalty but now unleashed. It is in these tender moments of honesty that she finds strength, drawing a line in the sand between the woman she was expected to be and the woman she dares to become. The air thickens as Anne's voice, both resolute and raw, paints a stark picture that defies public perception. The princess of public imagination dissolves, replaced by a figure carved from introspection and authenticity. The myths shatter, and in their place a new legacy forms not of fairy tales, but of human strength and perseverance. Her revelations challenge the edges of the royal narrative, inviting the world to reconsider what it has so comfortably mythologized. Yet, it is her vision for the monarchy's future that truly captures the heart of her revelation. Anne speaks not of castles and crowns, but of growth and dynamism, envisioning a monarchy that evolves alongside its people. Her place in it remains uncertain, a chapter yet unwritten. Perhaps she is destined to step away, to carve a path unbound by regal expectations. Or perhaps she will guide the change she longs to see it is a truth that time alone will reveal. As Anne bares her soul, the world watches and waits with new empathy or confusion, whilst royal insiders begin to weigh the consequences of these revelations. The possibilities lie before the monarchy, each path fraught with potential danger or promise. How will they navigate this unprecedented crisis? Within the ancient corridors of power, where echoes of past triumphs and failures can almost be heard, the royal family faces a pivotal choice. The tension between preserving sacred traditions and embracing the inexorable march of change looms over the palace like a gathering storm, casting long shadows across everything they hold dear. As whispered debates ricochet off marble walls, ancient customs and contemporary visions clash, bringing to light the heart of a timeless struggle. Within these venerable walls, heated discussions unravel as the royal household grapples with the evolving role of their storied lineage in a new world. Some ardently advocate for protecting cherished customs, upholding a legacy that has weathered centuries. Meanwhile, others push for change, a reimagined image of the monarchy that reflects the shifting tides of modern sensibilities. This internal battle swells, revealing factions each armed with conflicting philosophies, each perceiving the future through a unique prism tinted by the past. As they deliberate, ancient oaths begin to intertwine with fresh visions, creating a tapestry of conflicting hope and heritage. Beyond the castle's stone ramparts, an unseen force waits public opinion, a formidable giant unto itself, prepared to either rally behind the crown or crumble its foundation. The royals find themselves engaged in strategic dialogues, weighing legacy against necessity. They debate how to captivate a populace craving transparency and relevance, without forsaking the mysterious allure that has long surrounded the throne. Each word spoken, each decision pondered, is laden with the gravity of not just the present, but the future that lies in its wake. The specter of abdication, its shadow ominously long, promises not just personal ramifications, but ripples that threaten to shape generations not yet born. As they stand at this daunting brink, personal lives remain scrutinized beneath a relentless public gaze. The delicate dance between public expectation and royal privacy is both an uneasy alliance and a potent battlefield. Can they fulfill the intoxicating allure of celebrity while maintaining the sovereignty of their ancestral obligations? Or will they falter, eclipsed by their own compromises? These questions simmer, propelling them toward a moment of reckoning that promises neither solace nor certainty. As the royal family stands on the brink of transformation, an unexpected twist jolts them and us into uncharted territory. The palace shimmered quietly under an eternity of stars, a fortress of whispers, until an unexpected twist ripped through its gilded corridors. This storm came not with thunder, but through the rustle of aged parchment and uncovered document long believed lost to time. Hidden among the dusty shelves of the royal archives, This scrawled confession lay in wait, bearing a tale that threatened the very underpinnings of the monarchy. The words within spoke of a forgotten figure, a distant cousin from the farthest branch of the royal family tree, their claim to the throne long overshadowed by time and obscurity. Their presence, once easily dismissed and relegated to insignificance, suddenly emerged with the force of a tempest, challenging the existing hierarchy with revelations that could rouse even the most complacent soul. As this revelation unfolded, the air around the high chambers crackled with tension. Senior royals and advisors, once confident in their standing, were thrust into a chasm of disbelief. The king's most trusted aide, a stalwart in the court for decades, found himself questioning loyalties previously deemed unwavering. Conversations carried an edge, with every whispered word potentially igniting a wildfire of speculation. Opposition and intrigue lingered behind every silken drapery, as the hierarchy struggled to accommodate the disruptive echoes of lineage and ambition now made flesh. Meanwhile, beyond the palace gates, the kingdom quivered with a renewed fervor, as public perception strained under the weight of an alternate narrative. What had been dismissed as conjecture stories peddled by disenchanted storytellers and gossiping villagers now stood as a possibility that sent ripples through every tavern and manor house. A royal untethered, previously unseen and unheard, was now poised to alter the carefully balanced perception of power and its rightful holders. This dramatic shift rekindled the flames of curiosity and skepticism amidst the public, quietly urging them to reconsider the monarchy they had revered for generations. The emotional fallout within the familial bastion was profound, manifesting in strained alliances and fresh bonds alike. Members of the royal family found themselves caught between duty and a newfound empathy for the relative emerging from the shadows. Once stable alliances teetered on the precipice of fracture, yet they also birthed new partnerships forged from mutual understandings and shared visions of future governance. The hierarchy, once set in unyielding stone, now demanded reassessment, involving perspectives that had been previously disregarded in the glow of unchallenged supremacy. The media, sensing the scent of controversy, surged anew with a voracious appetite for what the public hungered for: the intricate details of a tale rewriting history in real time. Headlines blazoned with intrigue and speculation transcended mere reporting. They became the bedrock upon which public discourse was newly constructed. The kingdom, now austere with questions and a thirst for truth, found itself once more in the international limelight, every royal gesture and decree scrutinized with heightened skepticism. Amid this frenzy, the fresh narrative did not merely thrive, it blossomed, becoming a spectacle few could resist. As this newfound revelation redefines the stakes, the world demands answers, setting the stage for a dramatic conclusion. The pieces of this royal saga begin to fall into place, but will they form a picture of unity or fracture? Witness the monarchy's struggle to find a resolution that satisfies both heart and heritage, a decision that could lead to a bold new chapter or a devastating revolt. With the fate of the monarchy hanging delicately in the balance, King Charles and Princess Anne stand at the precipice of a new dawn or an inevitable dusk. Their deliberations are heavy with the weight of centuries, each word weighed against the legacy of their ancestors and the shifting tides of public opinion. It is a palace consumed by discussions that stretch into the quiet hours of dawn, fueled by the urgency of the moment. Decisions must be made that will echo through the grand halls. But what path is there that satisfies the intricate weave of tradition and modernity? Experts hover like crows over this unfolding drama, with predictions as sharp as knives. Some foretell a graceful transition, a realignment of duty and identity that reassures the populace, cushioning the crown's adjustments with whispered promises of progress enveloped in nostalgic reverence. Others, however, see a storm brewing, an insurrection against the established order, driven by a demand for transparency and transformation that could unravel not just lace curtains, but the very fabric of royal sanctity. The stakes are undeniably high, and the crossroads at which this kingdom stands feels uncomfortably narrow. Amidst this unrest, the royal family offers a rare glimpse into their private sanctum, where emotions clash like swords in a battle for hope. There is angst, undeniable and raw, etched on the faces of those who bear the burden of crowns. King Charles stands firm yet thoughtful, his discerning gaze torn between what is demanded of a sovereign and what is wrested away by the passage of time. Princess Anne, with her unyielding dedication, embarks on a journey within herself to reconcile personal integrity with duty. They confront their future, a looming specter that never fully unveils its visage, a ghost of both possibility and peril. Outside palace walls, the public mood is a turbulent sea. An array of voices, from the ardent monarchists to the zealous reformers, fills the air with anticipation. Hearts beat with uncertain rhythm. Will they rally behind a beloved institution, venerating the crown as an emblem that withstands the pressures of evolution? Or will they rise in a crescendo of rebellion, demanding a denouement that dares to rewrite destiny? The tension is palpable, a chord stretched to its limit, waiting to snap or resonate in harmony. In this struggle, the enduring power of royal symbolism cannot be overlooked. It glows like the precious stones that adorn the crown, a beacon in modern society's cacophony. It represents continuity in change, strength in vulnerability. It encapsulates a world where the present reflects the echoes of the past and the promises of the future. This is where tradition meets the lips of transformation, whispering secrets of resilience that defy time. Key figures within the palace undertake final, heartfelt gestures that might yet sway the narrative: the king's quiet contemplation, the princess's resolute embrace of balance, ignitions of hope in a landscape fraught with uncertainty. Words are spoken with the kind of gravity that only history can induce. Actions unfold with a delicate grace that aims to polish the cracks in the monarchical armor. This is the language of legacy, a language their forebears understood well. As the story threads draw to a close, we are left with a poignant reflection on what it means to lead and follow tradition in a world where change is the only constant.